Hi guys, Justin White from Mad Science Defense, and today's video is the 4 things to look for in a folding knife. And before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out on Facebook so that you can get all the content I put out. Alright, let's talk about folding knives. The folding knife is one of the most universally available tools in North America. You can find them at any hardware store, any pawn shop, any outfitter. They're easy to get, they're easy to carry, and they're legal to carry in a lot more places than a handgun or a fixed blade knife. Because of this, a lot of people are choosing folding knives as a self-defense option. So what are the 4 qualities that you need to look for in a good folding knife? Here they are. First, it has to be a knife that you can open with one hand. Second, it has to be a knife that will lock firmly open with no wobble in the blade and has a positive locking mechanism. Thirdly, you need a knife that will hold a sharp edge over time and has a blade profile that is conducive to deep penetration and stabbing. And lastly, it needs to be legal in the area that you're going to be frequenting so that you can actually carry it without having any trouble with the law. So let's look a little closer at these points. First off, having a knife that you can open with either hand is a big advantage because you won't always have 2 hands that you can use. You may be fending off an attacker with one hand. You may be holding your child with one hand. You may be in a non-defensive scenario where you've been in a car accident and you need to put pressure on a wound somewhere with one hand while opening your knife and cutting loose a seatbelt with the other. There are tons of advantages to having a knife that opens with one hand, and that's why you see them carried by military, police, EMTs, and civilians everywhere. And the second point we need to look at is a knife that will lock solidly open without any wobble in the blade and that has a positive locking mechanism. When you have to use a knife to defend yourself, there's going to be an enormous amount of force concentrated on that blade and exerted on that blade side to side and front to back, and the last thing you need in that moment is for the blade to come loose or for the blade to close on your fingers. Now what do I mean by a positive locking mechanism? You see this knife I have here. There isn't a way to accidentally close this knife on myself while I'm using it. There's a positive release, a button that I have to make a conscious choice to press that button and close the knife. That's one of the things you definitely want in a defensive blade. And the third point, you need a blade that will stay sharp, good quality steel that will hold an edge, and you need that blade to have a good stabbing profile. Penetration through heavy clothing and through thick clothing can often get a job done when slashing won't, and sometimes with loose clothing, the blade will catch and it won't slash as well. So you want to have the option of good penetrating stabs with your blade. And the profile of your blade is going to have a big effect on how deeply you can penetrate and through what materials you can penetrate. And then the final point, it has to be legal in the areas that you're going to carry it. We're the good guys. We respect the law, even if we find some of them a little bit arbitrary and silly. So we're going to follow the law and we're going to make sure that our knife is legal. Now there are plenty of other characteristics you should consider when choosing a folding knife, such as whether the handle is going to be slippery when it's wet, or whether it has a clip or a pocket holster or something to keep it consistently oriented for you to access it when you need it. But those kind of things can generally be fixed after the fact. You can put grip tape on a grip that's a little too slick. You can buy aftermarket holsters for your knife, and you can find different ways of carrying them. But if your knife won't lock open, won't hold an edge, and you can't get it open with one hand, you're going to have some problems. So those are the 4 characteristics you need in a good defensive folder. Until next time, I'm Justin White from Mad Science Defense. For more great content, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and visit us at madsciencedefense.com.